Mike Huckabee proved to the world yet again that he's the Christian Taliban after the gay marriage ruling today, where, of course, the court came down on the right side and they made gay marriage the law nationwide. So let's look at what he had to say. All right, first, hashtag SCOTUS, hashtag one man, one woman, and then he has a picture that says, the Supreme Court is not the supreme being. All right, so let's talk about that for a second. Dude, you're running for president. Was there no staffer that you have that said, okay, Mike, look, we all know that that's what you believe and that's what you think and that's why you're upset, that this violates your God's law. But you do know that you're running for president of a secular nation. Do you understand that? Do you know that in America we have the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment? Do you know that the government cannot establish a religion, that there should be no religious test for office? Do you understand this? Do you know that what you're advocating for is essentially the opposite of what the country is founded on? Do you understand that? But you're going to post this fucking thing, which basically you're screaming to the world through a megaphone, I am the Christian Taliban. I would like to make law based off my God. At least some other conservatives, like him or hate him, and we don't like him, at least they're smart enough to know I have to come up with an argument that's not based on God in order to try to convince people. Even fucking Bill O'Reilly said that on his show about a year and a half ago, where he says, look, the gay people actually have the better argument on their side because they say, we just want to be treated like everybody else. We just want to be treated in an equal way. And on people on the other side, on his side, O'Reilly said, all they do is thump the Bible. That's not convincing. And he said, look, you live in a country where you have to come up with a logical argument for it and take it to the people in order to get it implemented. But people on the right are just like, God, end of conversation now. I done said God. I don't care if you said God. That doesn't mean anything. So why can't liberals turn around and say, God, let's have gay marriage because my God says we should? You don't get it. Well, my God says we should. Well, my God says we should. So how do we resolve this if your supreme beings disagree? Well, it's very simple. Supreme beings are not allowed in the conversation. That's the whole point of America. You have a democratic discussion and debate based on logic and rationality and reason. This is how it's supposed to work in theory. And then whoever convinces the people, okay, that's how you get your change. God, you have to explain the most basic fucking things to these people. And even then, of course, he's not going to actually understand it. Of course, he's not going to get it. We covered the clip before, the last time Huckabee ran, where he said at an event, there are fucking cameras on him. And this idiot says, I have some people in the race who do not want to change the Constitution. I think it's easier to change man's law than God's law. They want to do the opposite. So in other words, yes, you're saying implement fucking literally biblical law. And by the way, does he even know everything that's in biblical law? Of course he doesn't. Because if he did, he'd have to put himself to death because he's gotten haircuts and he shaves his fucking face. In the Bible, you're not allowed to do that. He's wearing mixes of two different fabrics. In the Bible, you're not allowed to do that. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because he's a child. He's a man-child. You want to know how deep his reasoning is? I was raised in a culture where my mammy and pappy done hated gays, so I hate gays too. And he hides it behind this affable, like, I'm the happy-go-lucky heavy guy who wants to be president. I'm just a kind-hearted person. Ban the goddamn gays from loving each other and staying together. You're a joke. Let's look at the next tweet. 5 lawyers on hashtag SCOTUS can no more repeal the laws of nature and nature's God on marriage than they can the laws of gravity. All right, let me explain the difference to you. One of those things is what we call social convention. That would be marriage. The other one is literally a physical law. It's a law of nature. One man, one woman marriage is not a law of nature. That's not a law of nature. Okay? And by the way, read your fucking Bible. You know polygamy is the most common form of marriage in the Bible, right? And while we're going down this road, you know what else is in there, right? You have daughters who get their father drunk and then rape him. Should we allow that because that's in the Bible? You have men, some of them, who chop off their dick and balls and live lives of celibacy. Should we be advocating that because that's in the Bible? Polygamy is the #1 form of marriage in the Bible. People sell their daughters off into sex slavery in the Bible. Should we bring back sex slavery because it's in the fucking Bible? It's like debating with a child. He literally believes that one man, one woman marriage is the same as a physical law of nature, like gravity. No, but that's real. That's proven. That's describing what is in reality. That's what gravity is. It exists, whether or not even before we knew what the fuck it was, it exists. That's what a law of nature is. One man, one woman marriage isn't that. We decide what kind of living arrangements we have in the world. Some people are single, some people are gay, some people are straight, some people are polygamous. They can live however the fuck they want to live. But the thing that's so fucking freaky to me is that, like, again, he tweeted this. Like, he's saying to the world, I believe this. You just said to the world that you think one man, one woman marriage is the same as a physical law of nature. Do you not realize how embarrassing that is? You know who the only people who are going to agree with that? Fundamentalist Christians and possibly fundamentalist Muslims. Congrats! You just made Al-Qaeda go, yes, this Mike Huckabee, very wise, very wise.